Question says, I have a question. Basically, I've been told that if you are touched by the saliva of a dog, or if you smoke ganja, that is hashish, in brackets they put it, or if you drink alcohol, then your salah and du'as are not accepted for 40 days. So does this mean we shouldn't perform our salah for next 40 days after we have either consumed ganja or alcohol, or if the saliva of the dog has touched us, then for the next 40 days we shouldn't be performing our salah? And this person then says, I follow the Hanafi mazhab. Can you shed some light on this, Masala Mufti Sahib?
The various forms of ibadah are meant to attain the closeness of Allah. And ibadat generates a spiritual light in one's heart that builds up, and a person feels familiar with Allah and becomes attached and close to the greatness of Allah. And over time, through the spiritual light in one's heart, there is an increase in the enjoyment and the pleasure that a believer experiences as a result of his relationship with Allah. And no worldly comfort or enjoyment can be equivalent to the spiritual enjoyment a believer enjoys through his ibadah. So as such, the various forms of ibadah are not just rituals and customary actions to be merely fulfilled. It should be fulfilled with complete devotion, and we should have that mindset of attaining closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And committing sin is the consequences of negligence and unmindfulness. And when a believer performs an act of ibadah in this state, whilst it is appreciated and it is an expression of iman, the act itself is discharged, it lacks qubuliyah, it lacks acceptance by Allah due to committing of sins. So in light of that, it comes in the narration, man sharib al-khamr, whoever drinks wine, Allah will not accept his salah for 40 days. If he repents, Allah will forgive him. This hadith refers to wine. All intoxicants, including hashish, are included in the same prohibition. So wine and other intoxicants are addictive. They consume the energy of one's mind and heart and make one's desire more and more of it. And such, the heart and the mind is now focused on this and not focused on the ibadah. And there's no desire in the ibadah. Imagine presenting an act of worship to Allah with an empty heart. So the solution is to change and to reform, and the enjoyment through the intoxication of worship is pure, it's wholesome, it's unparalleled in spiritual enjoyment, which a believer gets can never, the angels can't even reach that level. So the intoxicants of this world reduce a person to worse than an animal. However, since Tawbah followed by reformation propels him to great heights of closeness to Allah, the utmost in any good deed is the qubuliyat and the acceptance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it does not behove a believer to be unnecessarily in contact with a dog. If a person is touched by the saliva of a dog, the area should immediately be washed. So to sum up what we've said, that the hadith that mentions the fact that for 40 days one's ibadah will not be accepted, but that does not mean that one should not perform ibadah during that time. One is still bound to complete your duty in this regard. When one is in the state of intoxication, yes, then salah will not be accepted in that state. But if a person is out of the state of intoxication, and for that period beyond that, the salah will be fulfilled, but one will be deprived of the nur and the light that salah will present.